Paul Ryan continues to flounder. And this is like the new Republican gold standard position. The new Republican gold standard position is to be like, yeah, I mean, he's a total racist and he's completely incompetent, but Hillary's a bitch, right? I mean, she's she's horrible. She's the worst, right? And Paul Ryan, because he's the Speaker of the House, he has to go through this exercise every couple of days, and he's on Meet the Press. And Chuck Todd, who has mostly never questioned Donald Trump this aggressively, all of a sudden is going to give Paul Ryan a little bit of a hard time and say, are you picking your party over your country? Which I have to just say, before we get to the sound, I have to preemptively do this. Anyways, let's play this out.
Speaker Ryan, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thanks for having me.
The minute folks found out that you were going to be on, I heard from a ton of Republicans, some of whom you know, some are friends of the show, some are sources, all with essentially the same question. Here's somebody that you said about Donald Trump that the Muslim ban is un-American, against American values. You thought he made a racist statement. How are you comfortable still supporting him?
Well, first of all, I feel like I have certain responsibilities as not just Congressman Paul Ryan from the 1st District of Wisconsin, but as Speaker of the House. And imagine the Speaker of the House not supporting the duly
He'd
elected
still be quiet
nominee
if he
of our
was
party.
congressman.
Therefore, creating a chasm in our party to split us in half, which basically helps deny us the White House and strong majorities in Congress. The last thing I want to see happen is another Democrat in the White House. I don't want to see Hillary Clinton as president. I want to see a strong majority in the House and the Senate. And I think the way to achieve those goals is to have a more unified party than a disunified party. Now, having said that, you know me well, Chuck. If something is done and said that I don't agree with, that I think puts a bad label on conservatism, then I'm going to speak out on it, as I have, as I will continue to do, and I hope I don't have to keep doing.
You just made a case, though, of party over country.
No, I didn't. I think there's a lot of things in the coming. I know Hillary Clinton won't agree with anything we want to do. She'll put a bad judge on the Supreme Court. She won't agree with any of the conservative reforms we're trying to do. I have spoken with our nominee a number of times about our agenda, about conservative principles, and about the policies we need to put in place in order to save the country. And we have so much more common ground than any other thing. And that is why I'm voting for our nominee. Because look,
how did he reassure you, though? How did he reassure you? Why do you trust him? Because you've asked him to tone things down. You've asked him to reconsider some things, and then you hear so-and-so did reassure you in private that he would possibly back off the Muslim ban, and then he goes right on with it, and then some. He essentially accused the president of treason.
One thing,
he went a little far.
I didn't actually hear. I heard about this.
I understand
actually hear those comments. I'm a little busy, so I don't read everything he says every day. Hey, let me just say this. One thing I know for certain, Hillary Clinton is going to continue taking the country in the wrong direction.
You don't understand, Chuck. I'm the Speaker of the House. I have an obligation to support an incompetent, demented racist. How dare you? Chuck, I'm not just a lone solitary congressman. I'm a major national leader, which obligates me to support an incompetent, mentally deranged racist. What part of this are you not understanding? There's also an important point there, which is that clearly Donald Trump has been giving the assurances that, yeah, you send me a far-right extremist agenda, which let's never forget for a minute who Paul Ryan is. The whole purpose of his politics is to give money to rich people and destroy the lives of a vast majority of Americans. That's the reality of his policy set. Donald Trump will sign those bills. And do you think that when Paul Ryan really goes to the mat for what he needs Donald Trump to commit to, it's respecting the rights of Muslims? Please. It's respecting the right of him to give his donors money and slashing Medicare, Social Security, food stamps, and not doing anything on the environment.
I think that was above all a decent performance by Chuck Todd there. But in case Chuck Todd's a listener, pin him down on when he says, the last thing I want is another Democratic president. Say, well, how about a racist president instead of a Democratic president?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the nub you need to start grinding into.
Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed, subscribe to our podcast, like us on Facebook, and just generally enjoy us.